Okay, we've just about hit another milestone, depending on whenever I put this out and whenever they show it, and whenever it comes on to it, of 9,000 subs. And I want to appreciate or show my appreciation to you all. I do appreciate each one of you. Coming to mind instantly now is the fact that there are some people who used to chime in on just about every video over the last year and 2 years ago, and even more that are going back. And I don't see those names as much anymore, and I wonder if YouTube's done the thing where they knock you off subs, and I might or might not show up in your sidebar now. So if you would, make sure you're subbed, and make sure you've got your bell on and so on. If you don't, they seem to have a knack of making you drift away on people. Maybe we can get to 10K here pretty quick. I hear exciting things happen when you break 10K. But I hear a lot of BS about it. Thought what I'd go into here on it is the idea of Neptune. I did a video about Neptune's origins that was working off another person's article and going into it depth, and it was a couple of pages long, and I ended up making it a couple of 45-minute videos, but I never really got to the point that Neptune actually's oldest origin comes from Proto-Indo-Europeans and Neptunos. And I'm going to do another vid that'll make a connection that'll go all the way through, rather than the concentration that I tried to do around the time of prehistoric coming into historic and writings and this development of this creature here, which derives from Sumerian ideas of the god of the sea and so on, which Enki ended up becoming. But there was a primordial time to that Enki was god of the world. In fact, Enki actually means god of the world. And there was a definite change there. And the first version of that was changing to Enlil, a sky and effective storm god, basically. Did a series on storm gods and so on too, explaining that all these connective, similar sprouting religion types actually derived from one certain source and then became a fibrated mess, which we look at today. Of course, we look back through time, and in our minds, a lot of times we say, or we see it as being the whole thing, rather than at the earliest of ages, there weren't these things mentioned. Makes you wonder if they were part of it or not. It's one of the things that I definitely wanted to go into and study, because I'm really just trying to find out the truth and reality of it all. It excites me. It's like, ooh, piece of candy. Each time I find connectives, it's amazing. Neptune was a connection for me because he has so many connections. Based on Enki, that's a fantastic fact, and all the connections that go off of that. But this god of the sea, and this sea ended up becoming the highway that ended up bringing forth another level of civilization and finding the Americas where I grew up and all the things that go along with that. But this Neptune idea and this trident goes much, much deeper and goes to quite a few different places. There's lightning here in the background, and he did help to cause that, but he was really a god of earthquakes also, which makes connections to Pluto. And then you see the horses here, and sure, there are seahorses, but I had an affinity for horses that I've talked about before, even helped raise a few horses and used to be able to ride. It's an amazing animal, and it's amazing to think of, up until your grandpa was being born, nobody really had cars or anything, and the horse was the thing that everybody had. Going back thousands of years. I like studying the cosmos and the planets in there too, and the ideas that go along with that. So it's something that encompassed it. And then, of course, Neptune's lagoon is actually the Mediterranean, and I studied cultures around the Mediterranean and in the Near East, which part of it was called Oriental Studies. amazingly. Whenever you think about things like that, you usually think about Japan and the Orient and all of that, and China, but no, in reality, any of this sometimes is under that heading, and Sumerians and so on is. So I've always had a connection to somebody like that, raised fish for a while, and even had and owned a fish store that got exotic fish and corals from around the world. I remember when I was a kid, and this blanket of blue you see behind you of an ocean, Jacques Cousteau used to come on, like a Disney thing every week and so on. And quite often he would go around in different coral reefs of the world and show you just amazing things that you never really knew that was there. And they were just floating because they were neutrally buoyant with their scuba on and stuff, and able to breathe underwater. And instead of dive down and take a look at something like a swimming pool, wow. He used to start it off with his French accent and say, the ocean, a blanket of blue, but below, and then drop below the surface of the water, and there's a coral reef. Just like in Finding Nemo with all the different fish and things like that. And I wanted to know what the hell that was, because it was something that people didn't know about. In fact, I found so many people that I would talk to didn't know about it. Didn't realize there was freshwater and saltwater fish, things along that line. Or that there are freshwater versions of fish that you think are only saltwater, like stingrays, which I had for a while too. I've always had an affinity with animals and pets and so on, but and I've had some amazing pets over the years. Some of these questions that I've got from people, and if you've ever said something out or even comments and stuff, I'll usually make a comment back. At least I'll like it. But sometimes I'll make a comment back. Sometimes it'll be a paragraph's worth of information, or check out a vid, It's gotten to where I've got over 5,000 vids now, and I actually don't know the exact name of that vid. It won't just pull up off my registry like some old card catalog type situation, and I can get it for you real quick. But you use a few keywords, you can find it. Weird thing about my videos is there's quite a bit of information on there that's not in the title, or even the summary that's been given down there. There's always something, and a few fireworks and connections that if you watch my other videos we make quite often, and develop that spider web. And hopefully you've been able to make a lot of connections. Hey, for a favor to me, why don't you do something for me here, guys? I thought about this a couple of times ago, but if you could, put down in the comments here how long that you've basically been watching my videos, whether it's 2 months or 2 years, or if I can find anybody that's been with me 3 or 4 or 5 now with the whole channel. You can put other comments down. Maybe one of your favorite videos recently, overall that comes to mind, things like that. Some of this information I've been looking at, and I start to look at it, I've got over 5,000 videos, and I've got people that get on and then ask a question, and why don't you do a video about so-and-so? And I'm like, well, I already have. About a year and a half ago, I did a series of 3 videos about it or so on, and I check it out or so on, and we go through that. But it also makes me think again that maybe I should throw another layer of that onion, as we say, and do another video showing connections. Because in a lot of these cases and places, I've left something out and an option out that I can make another connection. Some of these things are small and seem frivolous, but if you've seen my other videos and there's already that many connections that are going to it, then when I show you the other frivolous things that seem to be like, and that too, and it's in the soup too, and effectively you know, okay, well it's just made confirming connections. I have a lot of those, but some of them aren't enough of a fireworks to do anything, and if I can incorporate it into another video while it's going on and so on, I just maybe not refer to it. It's weird, but I feel that you're on the same journey that I've always been on, and so if you're coming down that road, I can give you some pointers as to what's coming up. Watch out for that tree. You don't even know what I'm talking about. But you will. Or I could lead you there. Speaking of leading, I don't want to make it seem like my videos are extremely leading or leaning in a certain way, but they definitely are. And over time I've become, well, you've probably seen it, or even can tell it in my voice, a little bit fed up with the bullshit. That people get fed as food for information that they're supposed to retain somehow, and then not even know the truth and reality of it. My journey itself was based on things like that because I kept finding out things. Well, it's as simple as you find out about Santa Claus, and then you find all the things about Santa Claus, and then you find out that it's just bullshit. But in your mind as a child, you've put all these things together and made it to where it could work. And then they show you other things too, and religions and concepts like that, magic stories from ancient elder times and all this, and it just drew me into it. Well, for one reason, isn't that neater than the thing that goes around? I mean, now we've got magic things, and I've got a cigarette lighter here that I can turn on and off just at the flick of my hand. Nobody's having to rub shit together and try to get fire started. So from that point to this point, how did we get here? And how did that actually happen? And was there anything weird in the middle of that kicked it off to made it to where we have all these stories we have now that are like the Santa Claus type thing? And I come to find out, yeah, there is. There's a group of people that pretty much spread this around like wildflower, and I always make the comment, and wherever Mary went, the lamb was sure to grow, or go, and the story grows. And you get variations on a theme from different cultures, and I think that it's wonderful that we have these variety of cultures like ancient India and Siam, all these things that are different than each other. Egypt and its relative difference to the Levant and its relative difference to ancient Anatolia, which that and ancient Sumer are really just almost not talked about or unknown. And I know the reason is truthfully trying to steer off of the reality of the Bible and the things. And if you get more into it, you might find out, well, I've heard this story before. But didn't we all agree that that was bullshit, but this is when it really happened? And I don't want to get off in religion too much, but it is one of the key words that's over here on the bottom of it. Under this picture here. I usually talk about what we're going to do over the next year. Things like that. I do have lined up so many videos, it's not even funny. I was looking through it the other night and really only got a third of the way through my tabs that I have open, realizing what's connected to what, and then I know a couple of those have a connective tab that's farther on that I never got to, because once I reached a certain point I went off and down a rabbit hole. But I kind of know where that is, and I need to look through that, through the other 40 that I have lined up, all past that. Some of these I noticed right off the bat, and yeah, that feeling came to me right off the bat that I just want to add one more firework and one more connection into it. In fact, there's one video that I pretty much would feel comfortable if I could just show you a picture that I can't find. It's as simple as that. I could talk for 45 minutes straight without showing this picture and get my point all across, and you'd probably, no, and I'd be like, look at this picture here, and you'd be like, okay, oh, wow, but I can't find this exact picture. I don't know how to keyword it in to make it happen either. It'll happen one of these days. I'll see it in somebody else's video and stuff. That's happened before, and I'll just stop their video and pause it with that picture on there, and I'll start a video and da 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 da, and then click to that tab and go boink. There are other ones that I just want to make another connection to, and I know that it's out there, but I haven't grabbed that piece and turned around and gone, okay, and then that together will make a video which I think is 20 or 30 minutes long, which is really about 45. And maybe we should do that. Irish history of ancient America. What? Yeah, I've got some videos lined up here, guys, that have some weirdness to them. Some oddities. Some things that people have found out in their research. It's like, well, hold on a minute. See, that's what's crazy is you're taught whenever you're a kid that they thought we're going to fall off the end of the earth and all these bullshit and everything, and then you come to find out, no. Why are you, I mean, if you're trying to do it in a fairy tale and then you tell kids that fairy tales aren't really real, or mythology is based on something, but don't give them the idea that that's the fairy tale that you should grow up with and stay all the rest of your life, because brave new world out there, and that's bullshit. You want to be a kid at 4th or 5th grade, laughed because you still believe in Santa Claus. Well, imagine if you got older and you found out that what you thought was reality was all just a bunch of bullshit. I think a lot of you can see it now with the media and the way things are pushed onto it in concepts. And you wonder how in 20 years they'll look back at this, or 100 years even, and look back at this, and it'll just be a little footnote that they'll have no idea of the bullshit that we all had to go through during certain times. I find through this last time of looking around, well, in the last couple of years here, that religion is being literally torn apart by these people that are experts in the field, to the point that they've got it down to little bitty things. In fact, stuff that I thought was a secret to everybody pretty much, and there were some people that knew, but apparently they're not getting it out, so maybe I'll say it, are now getting it out. Connections of zodiac to stories that are in your Bible, that are also in stories of the Homer and the Iliad and the Odyssey and so on, and ancient Sumerian stories and everything, and how it all goes together. But I didn't want to really show that too early in the idea, or show my hand too early and you think that it's all about royal flushes, because it's not. That is a ceiling deal. It's like me being able to show you that picture that I'm talking about. And it really seals the deal whenever you're able to look at that picture. Got a lot of videos lined up for this year. I've got a series lined up that's coming up shortly. I had some questions on, I do a few videos where I actually played the guitar and so on, and I don't know if I talked about it enough already, but I sliced through a nerve in my hand, and what is my ring finger on my left hand, which is what frets the guitar. And so I've got a few extra guitars here. Kind of took off on a concept of really just replacing my guitar that my wife had stolen, but in doing so, I found some incredible guitars. Probably get into that in another separate video there, but there's been some few questions asked, and by a few people, and I'll have to do a video, I don't know, about that. What people are asking about the guitar thing and stuff, is not enough to really make a video on for me, but I can make references in other videos, or when we talk about it like this, and so pretty much get it out in the open. Or I'll do a video where I'll use one of the guitars and play something, and or a couple of little things, and talk about the questions that's being asked. Maybe that'll be a good way to do it. Be like, well, I'll grab the Explorer and then I'll play a Def Leppard song and this, that, and the other, and da-da-da. Maybe put that all together. I don't know. Anyhow, thank you for helping me to get to 9,000 subs, and hopefully we reach 10,000 real quick. Anybody that you can get interested in oddities like I talk about, where you hear that there's something weird, Göbekli Tepe, any of that stuff, for Christ's sake, I've talked to so many people that don't even know what the hell it is. And the people that think they do think that it's that one place, and it's not 16 places and an ancient empire that was going on at the time of the Younger Dryas event and so on. And these people buried it all under. It's just the weirdest thing in the world. Strange we never knew what was under that hill. Ancient tells usually are built upon things and so on. And it would be amazing if we'd be able to have better ground penetrating radar like something Star Trek would have, to be able to look at these things. But it's amazing what's up under that little hump that's right there. And whenever you're standing on top of that hump that you found Göbekli Tepe in, within vision there's 3 other humps that look real conspicuous now. And it's amazing that these people have found the 16 that they have. It makes you wonder the total of how many there could have been in ancient times that have been drawn down to rubble pretty much already from people having to find them. Because if they didn't bury them before, I don't think we'd be talking about it now. Isn't that crazy? Anyhow, we're breaking 9,000 subs here, on our way to 10, hopefully like a bullet, as they say in the music business. And I've got a lot of exciting vids to come up. Any question that y'all have, or a video that you'd like to hear something on, I may be able to point you towards the video that I've already done, which I feel comfortable about, or it might be the prompt that'll make me make another connective video and continue on from here. So let me know downstairs, and again, if y'all would, tell me how long y'all been with the channel here downstairs. If you've been with me for 2 months or 6 months or 2 years now, or what? What got you more interested in the channel? What videos did you really find out something that you never knew? Or if there's an interesting topic that you would like, put it down right there. Let me know. I'd appreciate it. Another video coming up soon. I've got a few videos where I've recorded some of my music and stuff too, but I've put those on, but I haven't uploaded them to the point that y'all can see them yet, because really it's posthumous for me. And at first I wanted to record songs that I knew and came back to mind and could go over real quick and pick up and so on, and then see me get back to par on being able to play that, and the lead solo not sounding like I'm working my way through it, but yeah, I've got that down. It's just smooth, so on, and work back through it somewhat. It's not that I plan on ever gigging or doing anything like that again if the thing arises. I mean, geezer rock's one thing, isn't it? But lots of interesting videos, guys, coming up. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't at this point. Let's see if we can get us to 10K. And again, if you have people that you know that are interested in these type of topics, or if you have a question about something, and it might sound trivial, and it might sound left field, and it might be a little bit for you to type it out to explain to me what you're even talking about, and then ask the question. If you'll go through the trouble of doing that, I'll go through the trouble of trying to answer it for you to the best of my abilities. Might even make a video about it. Quite often, if the answer is going to be way too long, and you can see already I can go quite long-winded, if the video is going to be way too long, Then I might even make a video about it. Y'all take care. Hope you're enjoying your summer, and we'll see you soon. Peace.